Divorce 35M over dogs? 32F. Partner, 35M, and I, 32F, have been together 13 years. We have 3 kids and 2 dogs. I've always made it clear that I love animals and I wanted us to have dogs when we were able to get a house with a yard. When we purchased our home 4 years ago, I even picked a house with a dog door already installed. He bought the dogs for me, and the kids, almost 3 years ago, and since then it's been a never-ending argument it seems between us. I've made concessions for him in regards to the dogs, but it's never enough, and to the point where he's asking me to choose between him or the dogs. By concessions I mean, he doesn't want the dogs on living room furniture or in our bedroom at all. The dogs used to sleep with our kids in their beds, but he purposely bought bunk beds without discussing it with me, so now the dogs can't even do that. Then it became he didn't want them in the house and to be kept outside. I find outside animals cruel and I refused to do it. So he put up a large gate in between our formal dining, where the dog door is, and the kitchen area, so they can't get into the rest of the house unless I open it. They have beds in that area, access to the dog door outside, and an outside doghouse as well. So they can only come in, out to that one area of the house. He doesn't want the gate open when he's home. My dogs aren't bad behaved. They occasionally get into the trash, like dogs do, and bring in grass, dirt on their coat, paws from coming in the dog door, but they listen very well. I pay for everything when it comes to the dog's care, food, vet, etc. But he still wants me to get rid of my dogs. They're my babies just like my kids. I can't. I feel like I'm the biggest a-hole because I'm choosing dogs over him. I need some animal lovers to weigh in here. WTF? He actually bought the dogs. That is agreeing to care for them for life. And, what would you tell your kids? Why did he agree in the first place? This makes no sense. Keep the dogs, rehome the partner. Give an inch and he takes a mile. Undo all the concessions. If he wants to leave because the dogs are on the sofa, that's his choice, not yours. But honestly, this is just not a good person. Kindness towards animals was on your red flag exclusion list and he tricked you. Anyone who would insist that dogs live outdoors doesn't understand that they're pack animals and you and your family are their pack. It absolutely is cruel to keep an animal outdoors 24/7. It leads to health and behavior problems, and it's downright cruel. Your husband needs to educate himself about canine behavior and give up his plans or prepare for a divorce. Unless there was an allergy involved or he had objected to dogs all along, he has no right to backtrack on this commitment. I can understand not wanting dogs on furniture, in beds. My dog isn't allowed on either and is very spoiled and well loved. And even keeping them in a reasonable area of the house if there are doors that are easy to close, but wanting them to be outdoors only after living their lives in house pets is cruel. If my husband told me I needed to keep my dog outside only or he'd divorce me, I'd wave goodbye. This is him choosing to break up your family because he is trying to change dynamics. Don't let him twist this or make you feel like the divorce, if it happens, is your fault. Honestly, I wouldn't want dogs in my bed or on my sofa. But that's why I don't have dogs. I couldn't give them what they need. He signed up to owning dogs. He can't neglect them now or ask you and the kids to neglect those puppies. I don't know how much room there is to resolve this between the two of you. But I have a feeling this may be a symptom of how he behaves in other regards, too. If you're thinking of divorce, it can't be just the dogs. It's probably him not respecting you or the lives you are responsible for and doing shit without consulting you. He doesn't sound like a team player, and that's a good reason to quit being his wife. Based on the limited info given here. I, 29 female, am tired of my fiance, 30 male, letting other people pause our relationship? I don't really know how to word a question here, but we've been together for over 2 years. We don't live together. He lives with his mom as a caregiver. She's very abusive. Over a year ago he put his foot down and told her to start looking at other options. She didn't, and their lease renewal came up. She didn't have anywhere to go and can't live alone. So he had to sign for another year. He put off getting engaged because, even though he wanted to sooner, his older sister had been in her relationship longer and was upset and wanting to get engaged and married before he did. He waited and then stopped listening to her. She's still not engaged. I tried to talk to him about things like a timeline for when he wants to get married, a few months, a year, longer. But he said there's enough going on. His mom still hasn't been looking for any other living situation. And now his sister is pregnant. It's very early, like she just found out a week or 2 ago. Handling Halloween candy out to all the small kids hits him hard with baby fever every year. But this year it was worse. We both want kids, so it sparked that conversation. We both want to, but as soon as a possible timeline, even just if it'll be before I'm too old. For some context, I have a condition that causes a lot of pain in my uterus, and it's fairly likely to turn into cancer. I've already decided, and he knows this, that I'm having my uterus removed by 35. Because on top of my heightened risk of uterine cancer, I have another condition that makes me high risk automatically, so the even higher risk of pregnancy over the age of 35 is completely off the table. Adoption isn't an option. I was adopted and it was extremely traumatic. I can't imagine watching a child go through all of that trauma. So him saying, "Let's let my sister have hers before we talk about that," hit hard. It also relit the issue of when we'll get married, and again, he wants to wait until she has her kid and is ready to be away from it long enough to attend. But it wasn't just giving a timeline, it was saying we'll pick a date once his sister is ready to attend. Not we'll pick a date far enough out that she'll be ready to attend, we'll wait until she's ready to even pick a date. I love him, everything else in our relationship is amazing, we're very happy. But even though this is our only issue, it's a big one. I understand that he was raised with a very strict, mom and sister come first, in a way that their wants come well before his needs. He wasn't allowed to mourn deaths because it would make them sad. He couldn't eat enough food to keep weight on because it made them jealous that he could eat more without gaining weight. I fully understand that he had a traumatic childhood revolving around that. But I don't want to keep putting our lives on hold and possibly missing out on things we want just because his sister or mom isn't ready for it yet. It's starting to feel like we're going to be waiting for his sister's kid to be 18 before even setting a date for our wedding, and then for her to retire before even talking about when we'll have kids. I know I'm overreacting to an extent, but right now I'm considering just scheduling my hysterectomy instead of waiting for something that feels like it'll never happen. I'm also considering giving him the ring back and telling him to ask again when his sister's ready for us to get married. His sister obsession is going to end your relationship if he doesn't get help. Sorry, but your relationship isn't amazing if your partner refuses to prioritize you and your health. The only life on hold is your own, and if you keep waiting on this spineless man baby, you'll be removing your uterus without having had children. Shit won't suddenly be sunshine and rainbows once you're married. Even as his wife, you'll never come before his mother or sister. They, including your boyfriend, won't respect you in the relationship. You really want children? Find someone who really wants to have them with you. I think you're underreacting. If he can't set boundaries or stand up for himself now, what makes you think things will change? This is what you have to look forward to. His mom still isn't looking for a place, so what will happen when the lease is up again? He's being manipulated by his mom and sister, and I don't see it getting better. This is a deal breaker and you should part ways. He's got 2 mommies and both of them need his time and attention. They're jealous and possessive and cruel and will never let him be happy with a woman who isn't him. I'm not sure there's room for you in this family as long as they've got their claws in so deep. This is it op. You are living for a tomorrow that no one is budging to make happen. The way your relationship is the best it's going to be. As is you're on hold for his mom who likes how things are and has no incentive to change, and his sister, who you're now giving time to have her baby, but what if she gets pregnant again or gets engaged? She has no incentive to step aside and let you have your moment. And your boyfriend indulges them. If you are serious about your timeline, you really should move on. Girl, this is going to be your life, you should move on. Stop wasting your time. He, 37M, won't stop asking me, 37F, for non-monogamy. Is it an impasse? I've been struggling with a relationship for 4 years off, on. We have feelings for each other and we're compatible in a lot of good ways. But one thing we can't seem to settle on is monogamy. If you separate my feelings from the matter, I can agree with non-monogamy on a logical level. It makes sense that one person will never fully meet your needs, that we as people live longer and we have access to more people than ever before. I also can understand that loving is letting go, and that I can feel happy for someone because they're happy. However, when you integrate my feelings into it, then while it all sounds great on paper, I'm not emotionally capable of handling it. Especially when you add in how he's been affecting me emotionally with taking the non-monogamy for himself in an unethical manner all this time. So I'm holding a lot of hurt about it already, and I personally think that it's too much emotional management for me to try and have multiple partners. I don't like the divided attention, from them to me or from me to them. It would be most likely that I would date openly until I find commitment. This is my pattern, my nature. He went to a rehab center for a month after trying to medicate, antidepressants and the like, and having a bad reaction. I would have thought after 4 years that he would know that I don't want it anymore, but he tried to ask for it again. First thing back, he asked again, for the millionth time. It's like he can't live without it. That's his pattern, his nature. I'm at my wit's end. I told him that we're not compatible and we should go our separate ways. He said he wanted to talk to his sponsor, apologized for bringing it up so early after his return, and put a pin in the conversation. I'm just not so sure there's anything else to be said. I don't really care what another adult tells him about how he should conduct himself. I think if we can't give each other the relationship we want, we should be done. I'm the kind of person who likes to consider all sides. If you agree with me, cool. If you think I should be kinder and give him more time, let me know. If you need to know anything else, ask. Thank you for your help. He wants to fuck other people. You don't. That's not gonna work out. When you say, non-monogamy unethically, you mean he's been cheating. Wake up and stop being manipulated. Do you literally hate yourself because this is what someone who no self-esteem and a lot of self-sabotage habits would write? Should have ended it a long time ago, my friend. It only takes one core incompatibility to make a relationship not work. Monogamy is one. Stop wasting your time trying to rationalize the rest. Sounds like his plan is just to slowly wear you down. What's confusing is why you would choose him. He's not stable and is telling you his priorities. Why would you ever feel secure with a guy wanting to look elsewhere? I told him that we're not compatible and we should go our separate ways. You know you're not compatible. He is toxic to you. You don't need to consider all sides or get his approval to end things. Just do it. You already wasted 4 years. Don't waste another 4. Fiance, 29F, will not let me have friend. Is this common? 27M. I 27M have been with my girl 29F for 5 years now. When we started dating, me seeing my friends or talking to them was never an issue, but then like 1 year in, it started with just female friends. She said I had to stop talking to them and hanging out with them, or no longer give long-time female friends a hug if I saw them in random places. Then it moved to coworkers at my job that I knew for more than 7 years. I wasn't allowed to text them or answer their calls. I was a manager and often handled callouts. Not too long ago she started complaining that I spent too much time with my guy friends, including my brothers. I see them maybe once a month and would rarely play games with them online. Now I feel like I can't call anyone anymore without her saying, "Is that your girlfriend, boyfriend?" And she gets upset with me when I do take calls. I also choose not to play games with voice chat on when she is around in fear she is going to get mad at me and start an argument. She often says I cheat on her when I have been nothing but faithful. And haven't been in communication with any women but her. I feel so alone. She seems kind of controlling. Get out now and save yourself the headache. It's fucking insane. Do not marry this woman. Yeah, this is not normal or healthy. I'd seriously re-evaluate if you want to marry someone who plans to control your friendships. It's not going to get better once you're married. Run. She's isolating you from everyone. Abusers do this so you'll be less likely to leave them because you'll have no support. Never date anyone who demands you cut everyone off. I hate having friends, and even I think your fiancé sounds crazier than a June bug. Tell her you're an adult and you can have as many or as few friends as you want. If she doesn't like that, you can explain to her that now is the time to find someone who enjoys being under someone's thumb instead of after you get married. It's not common in healthy relationships, no. It's controlling. She's literally isolating you and making you a shell. I'd be breaking up with her.